Hey everybody, MrBookieboo here, and we have been making some really good progress in the city. So I'm mostly settled in now. It's been here for over a month, and slowly but surely, like the main part of the house is kind of getting put together, and the Lego room's been coming along as well. So we're still waiting on those new shutters that you see behind me there. Those haven't come in yet, so I haven't been able to put all the final tables in the back of the city. But what I figure in the meantime is I would start in the front, since this is kind of going to be like the showpiece as you walk in anyways, and I can definitely, this isn't going anywhere, at least hopefully not anytime soon. So I figured I'd start really working on this area that you see in front of me here. And so that's what I've been doing. And so I'm going to show you a close-up of some of the scenery that I've been working on and kind of my thoughts and design ideas for this area of the city. And we'll take a little peek further back because I actually have some of the roads in place and I can show you some of that as well. But we're really going to focus on scenery, landscaping, and all that good stuff for today. So let's take a closer look. All right, so when you walk into the room, you're greeted by this massive like frontage. It's two of the IKEA tabletops side by side, or actually just one across if you did them the other way. Actually, they're the same dimensions. I figured that out if you put them back to back that way, or if you put like two of them, it equals the same thing. So you're greeted by this as you walk in. I ended up putting these cabinets underneath because I just felt it gave it more of a finished look, and it just makes it look, you know, it just kind of makes it look neat, almost like a built-in. And I really, really wanted the trains. As you guys know, I love the Lego trains. And with this configuration, I was able to do a double track mainline. So I'm actually gonna be able to have two trains running at the same time, which is really exciting. But then the issue was, of course, the city was gonna be raised up, which is what you see there, just like in the old city. The issue became what to do in this front area. Now, I wasn't quite sure if at first I had some idea. I know I wanted to landscape it and do some scenery and stuff, but then it was like, well, should I try to make it more like urban to flow with the city, or should I try to do more of a, like a nature type look? And that's what won out. And actually, so the idea, and this is actually the concept that I have, so you can see the mountains way in the background. That's going to be how it looks in the finished layout. But as I mentioned before, the mountains are actually going to be further back, closer to the window, and they're going to be much larger. They're actually going to be a lot taller. My vision is they're going to be almost as tall as the window. Maybe not quite that tall, but they're going to be pretty tall. And the idea is that the mountains would kind of be in the back. It would cascade down. The city would be in the front area here, and then as I kind of move in closer here, you can see, so I have this canal. The canal is going to continue. You can see the little culvert where it goes under the road. Go under the road, and it's actually going to pop out somewhere in the distance out there in the mountain. And so you'll have like a waterfalls coming down from the mountain, which will lead probably to some kind of a catch basin at the foot of the mountain, which will go to the canals, which then goes to here, which then will bring this, it'll pull the whole thing together. If you look out, it's all going to flow together into the waterfall that you see in the front area. And so this is what I've been working on for the last like week or so now, is this. I decided with the waterfalls, I really wanted, I like the effect, I love the natural look. So I figured I could have the canals drain into a smallish waterfall that then goes down into this little lake area. And then it's gonna you can see as I get closer in here, you can kind of see how it meanders around at the foot of the retaining walls. And then it's just a matter of just adding plants and trees and all kinds of other goodies along the way here. And you can kind of see how this effect all kind of comes together. It's pretty cool. I'm really happy with how this has turned out. And it's just lots of landscaping, lots of just the water is just kind of flowing along here. And in fact, what's going to happen when you get to here, and actually you'll be able to kind of see closer is how I'm working on this and how I've been building it. But there's going to be another canal, which that's just a placeholder for it. Same type of idea on this side, to a waterfall, which will be a little bit different. There's the catch basin for the waterfall down there, and then it's going to continue very similar to this side over here. It's going to continue here, and it's going to connect. Now, if I get in at an angle here, you can kind of see how I've been doing this. So basically the tiles sit on top of plates. It's just a standard Lego blue plate underneath, and then I have those trans light blue tiles on top of that. And then to do the edge, because these aren't Mills plates, I did that just because of cost issues. So my track is just sitting on top of just normal base plates. I do have the ballasting, of course, but they're fairly low. But so what I did though, to make the water kind of not feel like it was, you know, like flowing, you know, in like more realistic, I guess, is I just added a lot of dark bluish gray pieces, and they're just assorted. They're like little 1x1s, lots of tiles, and just they're all in these little random patterns. You can kind of get a good look of it there and see how I have all that configured and set up. And so that's kind of what I ended up doing. And then I just filled out this area here with just more green embankments, so it's not flat. You know, it's okay, but to me, it just needed something to really pop, because like I said, this is kind of like the main entrance when you walk in. This is the first thing you see. And of course, you're gonna see the city and the mountains, but this is also really important. So I really wanted to kind of go overboard with the landscaping and the design and whatnot through this area. And so if we get down to more like track level, you can kind of see how it's kind of looking. I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. Yeah, so so this has been a lot of work though. It's really tedious, and it's you know, it's very like, because you have to kind of stay random, so you're using tons of plates, slopes, even the water pieces. You know, I use lots of these smaller plates because I really wanted to make the water not straight, and so you can kind of see how it's very like jagged and natural, as opposed to just straighter you know, 4x6 plates or something like that, kind of like in the canal, because the canal is man-made, so that makes more sense, versus when you get to nature, it's much more like jagged and rugged. Trees, these are just your standard trees of different sizes. I tried to vary the height and the colors a little bit. And then I also I really like these like Lego made plastic trees, like the ready to go trees. And so I tried to incorporate some of those into here as well. It's just a nice nostalgic kind of throwback to my childhood when I had those. That was the only trees that I had. And so it's yeah, it's pretty cool. It's shaping up pretty well. And then of course I created this little footbridge to go over the canal so that people could actually cross it easily if they don't want to go all the way to the end of the street. And then we have the farmer's market, which is really starting to take up shape in this area as well. So we have, you know, the basic farmer's market stalls. We have some seating and some lights that are going in. I'll put more minifigures in this area, of course. And then in the front area, this is going to actually continue around. So instead of having the modular be so close to the edge, I figured I would have this little like work area, and these are just plates. They actually sit on those risers. You can see those parts in there. And so I'm going to fill in this whole area here, and this will just be a nice little frontage. And I already have my juice bar. Kind of, it's going to go in this area. I'll probably, maybe I'm thinking I might put like a pizza stand or something like that. And then this middle area here, this is going to be a custom MOC. So I've actually been trying to build a Lego store, and actually I was building it before I moved. And the funny thing, actually, you can see it over here. That's the facade of it. And so, but I made it 22 studs wide instead of 20. So I'm actually going to have to shrink it down a little bit. It's not a big deal. I'm not too worried about that. But I'm going to do my own like custom modular, and I felt it was just really appropriate, and it'd be really cool to have like a Lego store kind of be the centerpiece of the layout as you walk in and see that, you know, this area. And it'll probably be a 2 or 3 story like modular, like a mini modular kind of a thing. And then behind that is where I'm actually going to do my facades in this alleyway. Is I'm going to have, I already have plans. I want to do like one of my high-rise condos. That's not going to be too high, but you know, maybe like up to here. And then I want to do like the hospital, and maybe another one as you go further down the street there. So it's going to kind of finish off when you look at this from the sides, instead of seeing the backs of the modulars, which pretty cool actually. Now that I see, some of them aren't so cool. Like Parisian looks really good, but some of these other ones are kind of just boring and plain. It's actually going to be like the facades are going to be in between there, just to give it a little more height, just give it a little more visual interest, and to retain that facade building that I really enjoyed from the previous layout. And then as we move along over here, you can see just the streets are really starting to go in. I'm really liking these new road plates that they have. They're really handy because you can do exactly what you want. In the past, you know, if you wanted to have intersections like this, you couldn't do that. You would have to have another intersection over here, and then you'd either have to like tile over it somehow, or cut it, or you would just have a weird crosswalk here which you could, in the past I'd use those for parking and things like that, but it just never quite looked right to me, versus the new style here where, you know, I have 3 crosswalks, I'm good to go. And this is just a walkway. So you can really customize it. Bridge building is a lot easier. This bridge has no Technic. My old bridges would have Technic support underneath to support the base plate because they were so flimsy. This is just the plate, and then there's just a few other plates underneath here. And you can see here how, again, this road's gonna connect up. So the new layout, it just has a lot more depth. It's a lot more like 3-dimensional than the old one, which was very flat. And then I had to resort to a lot of trickery to kind of make it feel like it was more alive. But like in this, even in this view, you can see how already, because you have the 2 different streets with the cross street, it has a lot more depth already. So that's where we're at. Ooh, I almost fell. I got stuff all over the floor. It's still a mess in here, and there's still modulars all over the floor over here too. But slowly but surely things are getting off the floor. So I'm slowly starting to make progress on that as well. So that is about it. I'm hoping I'll finish up this in the next, maybe in the next week, get this top part locked in. And then I really want to start working on that Lego facade mini modular to go here. I think that will really start to finish this off and maybe work on one of the new facade. I don't know, they're not technically facades because they're actually going to be full buildings, but work on maybe one of the buildings to go in that space as well. So thank you for watching. Stay tuned. We're going to be doing more exciting stuff. Make sure you're subscribed on Instagram because that's where I'm posting nearly daily with updates on this. And the city updates have been coming really fast now as I've been working. And there's a lot of work in progress shots as well. So you can kind of get a feel for what, kind of how I've done this as I've gone step by step. So there's some really good info on there as well. And make sure you're subscribed here, and we'll be back real soon with another update. Thanks for watching.